All right, guys, here we go. We are trying to figure out these technical issues. As you know, hopefully you saw my message. I announced it on Monday. I announced it earlier today. I sent it in an email today that Facebook has gotten rid of, they have eliminated third-party access, streaming into Facebook groups. So, and that affects us using Ecamm, but it also affects anybody who streams into Facebook groups. So I'm in a number of Facebook groups that have live streams, so I don't know what's going to happen to them. But yeah, so here I am, and hopefully it is working. So so on my other screen over here, I see like a delayed version of myself. I see Anthony saying, yeah, we're here. Lindsay said good morning, but that was before I even started. So I saw it in the chat before even we started. So how do you pronounce, is it Quatez or Catez? Watford. So I'm seeing that happening. But what's weird is the version, so like in order to see your chats, I don't remember which one was the first time when I said good picture and sound. Thank you, Kurt. So the weird thing is that in order to see your chats, in order to see your comments, I have to be looking at the version on Facebook. And the version on Facebook is delayed. So I'm looking at myself. You know how like it's like on a Zoom call, you can see yourself, right? That's how my streaming software works. So I can see myself and I'm real time. But then over here on my monitor, it's delayed. So that is just a big adjustment. Now, there is a plugin that I can use to be able to see the chats in Ecamm like we're used to, and I can put them on the screen and all of that. But I started going through it, and it was like, I don't have time for this. So next week, hopefully I will have figured it out so the chat will be normal. So yeah, this is going to be a little bit strange. And I'm a little nervous about what's going to happen when I share my screen, because I'm worried that it's going to, I'm worried that it is just going to lag so badly because of all of the different things we have running. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to try and pull up the Facebook group without being in the event, and see if that works for me without too much trouble. Okay. All right, I guess I have to click this other thing. Oh, I wonder if I could put this over here. And then, let's see, adjust this. This is just so strange. I'm sure it's fine on your end, but on my end, it's just so strange. It's just so strange. Okay. So I think that I can, okay. I think that this will work, but I'm a little worried about sharing my screen, but I'm going to share the screen, and then, yeah. Thank you, Lindsay. I do try to roll with the punches. I mean, what else can you do? What else can you do? All right. You can either laugh or cry, and laughing is more fun. So, all right. So let's see what happens when I share my screen. Oops, wrong one. All right. Hopefully you guys can see that. I can no longer see the streaming part of myself, so hopefully you guys are seeing my screen and I can do my little intro. All right. Oh gosh. All right. All right. Hey everybody. I'm Margie Remmers-Davis, creator of the Fast and Easy Way to QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor Certification, and welcome to our weekly live stream that we hold every week inside of our free Facebook group, the QBO Locker Room. This Facebook group is your spot for hands-on practice using QuickBooks Online. This is what we are all about. We are all about hands-on practice, hands-on practice, hands-on practice. I say it over and over because that is how we learn. Like, you can watch videos all day, but if you just actually do the work, then it sinks in your brain and you really know what you're doing. So when you join the locker room, those of you who are on the call live right now, you're already in the locker room. So this little intro is for the folks joining us on YouTube. And there will be a link down below where you can join the locker room. It's absolutely free. Once you join the locker room, then you will automatically get access to our free Getting Started course. This course will teach you how to get your free QuickBooks Online accountant account, how to navigate the QBOA account, how to basic terminology for QBOA, and also how to access the sample company, which is where we do all of our exercises. Well, almost all of our exercises. So also in the group, you have access to over 100 free exercises. People are always asking me where to find those free exercises. So I'm going to show you right now. When you are inside the group, there is a featured section. Let me just make this just a little bigger for you. There's a featured section. And in this post right here, where it says featured, it says over 100 free hands-on exercises. And when you click that, it's going to open up this post, and you'll see right here, this is this link right here, over 100 free exercises. Click that, and here are the free hands-on exercises. We're going to actually talk about this a little bit later, so I'm going to come back to that. But anyway, so you have over 100 free exercises you can access right there. Also, if you join our weekly live stream, you get a free exercise of the week. The exercise of the week is a feature of our paid program, which is the QBO Gym. The QBO Gym is a subscription product that is kind of like it's like a flight simulator for, Joel will post that in the chat. It's like a flight simulator for being a bookkeeper. The difference between the individual exercises, okay, so these 100 free exercises, each of these exercises just goes over a particular feature. So you learn, for example, this one, how to add an invoice. You create an invoice and boom, you just learned how to create an invoice, okay? The difference between that and the gym is that in the gym, it is scenario based, okay? So you're actually getting the experience of being a bookkeeper for an entire year. So you sit down for a month, it starts in February, you start and you get to do all of the things for Craig that you would do in as a bookkeeper. So you're going to start by processing the money that has come in and the money that has come out. You're going to process those bank feeds. You're going to do anything that Craig has asked you to do, like sending invoices or paying bills. And then every month there is a focus. So it's like a theme where you're going to take a deeper dive into a particular feature. But again, it's not just learning that individual feature, it's learning it in context of what is happening in Craig's business. And then finally, there's cool down where you're going to reconcile the bank accounts and run reports. And often the running reports is related to something you learned earlier, maybe the deeper dive in the strength training. And also, all sorts of, because this is a simulated experience, this is, it's all sorts of things are going to go wrong. So there's going to be troubleshooting that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to figure out exactly, what you need to do. And we're going to guide you through that step by step. Now, the QBO gym is linked to Booksmatch. So Booksmatch is an opportunity for you to show off the skills that you have learned in the gym. So as you are actually doing these things, then your skills are recorded. And I'm just going to pick on Jean right here because she happens to be the top in my list. And so your skills, as you do them, then they're recorded and you can actually show off that you have made all this progress and done all of these things. Okay, so that's all it's all connected. If I didn't have so much technical trouble today, then I would have been more prepared to go over how it all matches up in Booksmatch. Hopefully, maybe we'll do that next week, but next week we'll have other technical stuff I got to figure out. So I don't know. Eventually, these calls will tie everything in with Booksmatch so you can see. One of the things that we measure in Booksmatch is your consistency, how frequently you are upskilling. And if you have completed everything there is to do in the gym, then your consistency rating will go down. And so that's why we have an exercise of the week, because we want to make sure that you always have something to work on so that you can always demonstrate that you are working. And this right here, this consistency rating, that is the number one thing that's important. Your knowledge will be different based on how long you've been in the system. Your speed will be different, again, how long you've been in the system. If you've been in the system for a long time, your speed is going to be slow because there's less for you to do. And if you're brand new in the system, your speed's going to be high because you're doing a lot, and your knowledge is going to be low because you're still working on those things. So consistency is our most important metric. And that's why we have an exercise of the week. But added bonus, if you are on the live stream, then you also get the exercise of the week. Now, the exercise of the week is a separate course, and it is unlocked once you have completed 250 points in the gym. Everything in the gym is gamified, so you're like earning points and badges and getting dings and stuff, all the like woohoos all of the time. So once you've got 250 points in the gym, you'll unlock exercise of the week, but you don't need it. Again, it's really for the people who have completed everything and just need that little extra. But I know people love to have exercise of the week. They always, you guys are so hungry for this that we do unlock it at 250. So Iris, I'm seeing that you have a question about that. You said I've completed 51% completed in the gym. So that should be, it's based on points, not percentage complete. So if you have earned 250 points, and you can see how many points you have earned, by the way, if you're inside the gym, you can click this little arrow and it'll pull up this drawer and it'll show you how many points you have. So if you have 250 points, then it unlocked a new, and this is actually a new course. So you have to go back to the dashboard and load up the course there. So Iris is 6 points away. So close, so close. Let's see. Rosalba says, I finished year 1, but I don't see year 2 in my dashboard. Again, that's going to be year 2 is a separate course. So I don't go over year 2 really on these live streams. So too much, because I want to make sure and get everybody and it's, so once you've done all of year 1, then you unlock year 2. So year 1 has to be at 100%. If you aren't seeing year 1 at 100%, Rosalba, you can look through and see all the ones that say in progress or completed. Make sure they all say completed. And if you're still having trouble, then email support@fastandeasyqbo.com, and Anthony can take a look at your account and figure out, and we can figure out why it's not unlocking. Okay. All right. Let's see. That is okay. All right. So that is the gym. Am I finished with my little spiel? I can't remember where I was. Yes, so that is the exercise of the week. That's what we're going to walk through today. And if you attend live, then you will get you'll get the link. Joel will post it in the chat when we get there. Okay. All right. So and the live streams are every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Okay. So today's exercise of the week. We have been this year, with the exception of a couple of weeks ago when we had a special exercise of the week. We have this year been working through the Pro Advisor challenges provided by Intuit. So you can go ahead and click. Joel can go and can put it in the chat. And those of you who have the extras of the week, you can click it here. And we're going to go through this. Now, Joe just asked a question in the chat. I heard so much about bookkeeping and compliance and regulation. Bookkeeping is not a regulated field. There's no licensing requirement. There's no regulation. So I know there are some people who are pushing that, but and would really like to see that happen. But as of right now, there's no regulation or licensure or anything for bookkeeping. There are a number of certificates that you can get. Intuit has a free, their Intuit Academy has a free bookkeeping certificate that you can earn. I know you can get a bookkeeping certificate through a bunch of other places, National Association of Bookkeepers and Bookkeeper Launch, I think, has their own certification, but none of those are like recognized by anybody currently yet. So we don't have a course on that, and we are going to be doing a bookkeeping fundamentals course here coming soon, probably before the end of the year, but we'll talk about that more later as it comes up. All right, so I mentioned in the email this morning, so if you're in the member of the Locker Room, you should be getting a weekly Locker Room agenda where I talk about what we're going to be going over, and I tell you things like, hey, we're having problems with the technology and things like that. If you're not getting that email, please write to us at support@fastandeasyqbo.com, and we can look into your account and see what is happening. Why, sometimes, like if you've opted out or you have, sometimes if you want to unsubscribe from our marketing emails, you don't realize that you're also unsubscribing from the Locker Room agenda. So we can teach you how to do that separately. and sometimes like you're bouncing, or it bounced for a couple of times and now the system won't send them again, or sometimes we're sending them to a different email address than you expect. So if you're not getting the weekly agenda, then email support@fastandeasyqbo.com and we can figure that out. Okay. All right. So I mentioned in the agenda that we're going to be talking today a little bit about a little more of an advanced This is a more advanced exercise. Now, I say advanced, that doesn't mean it's hard. It's not hard, okay? The next one actually on the schedule was hard, and it was going to require me to be talking a lot and showing you a lot of things. And I decided not to do that one since we're experimenting with all of the technical stuff. So that one, we'll circle back to that one in a couple weeks. So this one is considered advanced because it's talking about inventory. And inventory is considered by Intuit a more advanced topic, okay? So we'll go through this in just a minute. I just want to point out, as I mentioned, the first half of this year, so we're a little more than halfway through them so far, is going over the Pro Advisor challenges that are provided by Intuit inside your QBOA account. Okay, so let's talk about how we get there. If you want to go and revisit this, if you want to see the version in Intuit. So inside your QBOA account, and you can tell that this is a QBOA account, that's an accountant account. You can tell it's an accountant account because it says accountant right up here, okay? And also the left navigation bar is gray. And also up at the top, it's separated between your practice and your books, okay? So this is an accountant account. When you're in an accountant account, you have an option here on the left nav bar that says Pro Advisor, and you can go to training. Now, inside the training, there's a few different ways to navigate this. And I don't know why. Sometimes it just behaves that way with the left nav bar. It's very annoying. And so there's a number of ways that you can navigate this. What we're going to do is we're going to the training library. Okay, so the training library has everything about all of the training that they have available for you. And the first section is product training, and they have QuickBooks Online. It's automatically open, but if I close this, you can see there's other products that are listed here. And then they have other training that's down here. They even have, if I scroll down, oh, actually, interesting, it's not here. Huh, okay, well, they had QuickBooks Desktop training, but interesting. I think it's still there, it's just hidden somewhere. Anyway, so this is the product training, and so it's open to QuickBooks Online. And inside here are all of these tiles that represent different modules. Okay, so if I go back to the exercise that we're working on, okay, it says go to the left navigation bar, hover over Pro Advisor, select Training, click on the Training Library tab, click QuickBooks Online to expand. It may already be expanded. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're going to the Sales and Customers tile. Okay, so I click on here. You see these different tiles represent the different modules. And the exercise we're doing today is Sales and Customers. Okay. Now, many of the modules are divided into beginner, intermediate, and advanced skills. Okay. Some of them are just intermediate and advanced. Some of them are just beginner and intermediate, but these are the ones that are available. So when you open them up, you'll see that there are additional lessons. And so the one we're doing is in the advanced section. The ones that are intermediate, These are the ones that are tested on the regular basic certification test. And you can tell that when you hover over this little icon, it says it's tested in the QuickBooks Online exam. Okay, so that's content on the basic level certification. I call it basic level. Here they have beginner, intermediate. Okay, anyway, it's intermediate, but it's that first level of certification. And then under advanced, when I have that open, if I hover over that, see that it says tested in the QuickBooks Online Advanced Exam. So what we're going to be covering today is actually material that is covered on the advanced exam, which takes me back to our free 100 exercises that I mentioned, okay? These 100 free exercises, not all of them, but many of them, most of them, are exercises from our Fast and Easy QBO certification courses, okay? So you have to pay for the course, but we give you the exercises for free for those of you who, just want to work through the exercises and don't care about the context and the the information that you actually need to know for the test. So as I scroll through this, you can see these are all the ones that are in the basic certification course. And then I'm going to scroll down and go, and here is the advanced certification course. And the one that we are actually, the exercise of the week is nearly identical to one of our exercises in here. It is this one. A.3.6, that means it's advanced section 3, lesson 6, and this is the first exercise that's in that section. And we are adjusting inventory. Okay, so if you were not able to watch this call live and you didn't get the link, then, or you don't have the gym and you don't have the exercise of the week, you can access the nearly identical exercise right here. All right, so going back to where I was. So here is the exercise of the week that we're working through. Sales and customers, advanced skills. We're going to go down to the lesson on buying, selling, and adjusting inventory. Okay. Number 11, buying, selling, and adjusting inventory. Okay. All right, so you'll notice on the right-hand side, there is a link here to Pro Advisor Challenge. Sometimes this link works and sometimes it doesn't. Looks like it's working for me today. Sometimes you have to unlock the challenge, like you have to do, I think last week when we did this, we had to do a knowledge check. So we had a little quiz that we had to do to unlock it. Sometimes it is sometimes it is because you have to click through things or whatever. So here's the Pro Advisor Challenge as Intuit provides it for us. Okay, so here is, they give you some instructions on how to get to the sample company. Then here is the task. Okay, so your client Craig noticed discrepancies in his stock levels and asks you to help him correct them. The situation as noted down by Craig is sprinkler heads, according to his QuickBooks Online inventory, is 25, but in reality there's 20. According to his QuickBooks Online inventory, it says there's 31. In reality, there's 35. So what we're going to do is enter the inventory quantity adjustment in batch to adjust the quantities based on Craig's inventory count, and then use the cost of goods sold as the inventory adjustment account. Okay? So that's what we're going to be doing. And in the Intuit version, they just tell you the results. How did you do? This is how you can check to see whether you did it right. And then they have their solution, which is some step-by-step, but there's no pictures or anything. And so that's why we like our exercises better. Okay, so let's walk through our exercise. In order to do this, the first thing we have to do is load the sample company. So I'm going to do that, going to here, and then I'm going to select sample company. When you load the sample company, you are logged out of your QBOA account. So do not do this if you are in the middle of taking the test, because you will lose your progress in the test. We do, if you sign up for our courses, we do teach you how to have them both open at the same time. So we can help you with that. Okay, so here I am inside the sample company. Okay, and I just followed those directions. Okay, here again, as a reminder, here's the scenario. Craig, your client Craig, noticed discrepancies in his stock levels and asked you to help him correct them. What you need to know, the situation as noted by Craig is the sprinkler heads, QBO says there's 25, actually there's 20. The sprinkler pipes, QBO says there's 31, actually there's 35. Okay, now let's remind ourselves what inventory is. Okay, so I'm going to go, I lost my cursor. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to go to the products and services list. This is not the exercise. I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page. Okay, so Randy, I'm going to address your question because I'm not quite sure why this exercise is written the way it is. But, okay, so as a reminder, there in QBO, there are 4 types of products and services that you can create. So I'm going to click New. Okay, we have inventory products. Now, inventory products are products where you have to keep track of how many you have at a given time. Okay, you can only use inventory products, or your client can only use inventory products if they are on QBO Plus or QBO Advanced subscription levels. Okay, this type of inventory is called a perpetual inventory. That means that it is every time something's bought, every time something's sold, the books change every time. Boom, boom. Okay. In one of the issues of the gym, let me just go back here real quick. In the June issue of the gym, we are all about inventory. The whole focus of this is about inventory. And we actually go into detail on how to handle it if they have QBO Plus or Advanced and they can use the features. So that's perpetual inventory. It's tracked every time. And what it's like if it's different, if they don't have QBO Plus or Advanced, and so they need to manually track it. Okay, so that's periodic inventory, slightly different how it's handled. But if you're subscribed to the gym, we go into detail on that. Okay, so let me go back here. Okay, so inventory products, these are the products that you keep track of how many you have. Okay, non-inventory products they're still products, they're things, right? They're things, and you want to keep track of how many you've bought and sold, but you don't want to keep track of how many you have at a given time. Okay, so that's when you use a non-inventory product. A service is something you do for somebody, so it's not a physical thing that's exchanging hands. And then a bundle is like a combination of these things. Okay, so what we're talking about today is inventory products. And if I look in my products and services list, I can see that Craig currently has a handful of inventory products. So we have pumps, I guess that's a fountain pump, a rock fountain. These are inventory products. Then we have sprinkler heads and sprinkler pipes. Okay, and you can see from this products and services list for these inventory products how many they currently have. Now, if you have set it up correctly and everything is working fine, every time that you buy these products, this quantity on hand increases, and every time you sell these products, this quantity on hand decreases. Okay, so QBO is really good at keeping track of that. if you and your client are doing it correctly, okay? But sometimes you don't do it correctly. And also sometimes things happen. Sometimes things break, right? Sometimes if it's a perishable, then there's spoilage involved, right? Sometimes somebody finds an extra one, or maybe the vendor gave you an extra one in your last purchase. So now you have an extra one that maybe you didn't buy. Okay. So if for some reason you have more or less than what QBO says, you can do an inventory adjustment. Now there's a number of ways to do that. I'm going to show you 2 ways right now. And then we're going to go back to the exercise and show you the way that the exercise does it. Okay. So one way to do it is to edit the individual product. Okay. So here I am, the pump. Okay. Then I'm going to click edit. And it says quantity on hand 25. So I can adjust the quantity by clicking this. Okay. Yes, I don't need to save anything. So I'm going, and it's going to open up this quantity adjustment. Notice it says inventory quantity adjustment, and it automatically has the product that I just selected. This is what it shows for the current quantity on hand, and I can make the change. Okay, that's doing one at a time. Okay. The second way to do an inventory adjustment is to use the plus new button. If I do plus new, notice there's one here that says inventory quantity adjustment. So if I click this, inventory quantity adjustment, okay, then what I have to do, notice there's nothing listed here. I have to pull up the individual products, okay? So if I click here, and it will pull up my inventory products, and I can select one. It'll show me what the current quantity is, and then I can adjust it. Okay, so that's the second way to do an inventory quantity adjustment. Okay, before I show you the third way, which is the way that's actually in the exercise, let me just show you a report that is handy when you have to do an inventory quantity. And this is in our Fast and Easy exercise. It's not in the exercise of the week, which came from Intuit. So I'm going to duplicate this tab. I keep forgetting to change my, for some reason my right click is not working on this mouse. So I'm just going to open a new tab because I don't want to leave my products and services list. Okay. I'm going to go to reports. Interesting. That's a new survey. Interesting. Okay, never seen that. You never know what you're going to find in the sample company. Okay, so there is a report in here called a physical inventory worksheet. And what's cool about this report is you're just going to click this report. Oh, this one is in modern view. Okay, well. And it pulls up all of the inventory products, all of the quantity on hand, okay? And then you can print this out and take it back to your storage closet or your warehouse or whatever you're doing, and then they can just write on here what the current quantity is, okay? So our exercise says that according to his QuickBooks Online inventory, it says 25. In reality, it's 20. Well, what he would do is you would print this out for him, or you would teach him how to do it, okay? And then he would go back to his thing and he would write on here what the quantity is, the actual quantity. So he would write on here the quantity. And then you could use that then to then go in and make the inventory quantity adjustments that we are going to see. No, I'm not going to do it. Okay. All right. So that is just a handy report if you are using inventory so they can come up with the numbers that need to be adjusted. All right, so let's go back to our exercise and see how we're actually going to do this. Okay, so for the exercise, we go to the products and services list from the left nav bar. You may have noticed that what I did just now was I clicked the gear icon and went products and services. There's all sorts of places to get to the same thing. Okay, so also sales, products and services. For those of you who are brand new, notice that in the left nav bar, when you hover over these things, this right here means it's the sales center. And then each of these right here reflects a tab in the sales center. Okay, so notice overview all sales invoices, overview all sales invoices. Okay, so products and services is a tab in the sales center, and that's how the exercise tells you how to get there. Okay, all right, so now we're going to click on the checkbox next to sprinkler heads and sprinkler pipes. Okay, so we're going to find our other two. Okay, sprinkler heads and sprinkler pipes. We're going to check these. This is now the third way to do an inventory adjustment. This is the one that is in the actual exercise. Okay, so we just checked those two. Now we're going to click on batch actions and select inventory. Okay, so I checked those two. And now if I scroll back up here, I go to batch actions and select adjust inventory. Okay, now notice what's different from the other two ways that I just showed you. The first way that I showed you just did one product at a time. Okay, so we clicked that one and it just pulled it up right here. The second way was from the plus new button, pulled up the same thing, but that time I had to add the products myself. This time, because I pre-checked them, it automatically pulled in the products that I wanted. And of course, while I'm doing this, I could just add. So either of the previous methods, I could have just added another one if I wanted to. Okay, so here's the product. Here is what QuickBooks Online has on hand. And then we have the new quantity and the change in quantity. Now, the way this exercise is written, okay, let's go back to it. I'm going to actually skip the adjustment account. I'm going to come back to that. So I'm skipping to step 6, okay? So the new quantity for the sprinkler heads is 20, okay? So I can type in new quantity 20, and then notice what happens here to change in quantity. It automatically did the math and said, oh, there's 5 less. Okay, that's what the -5 means. Okay, now the exercise is going to tell us to do the same thing for the sprinkler pipes. Okay, in quantity, we're going to type 35. Okay, but I could also, what is the difference between 31 and 35? It's 4. So I could actually type in this field instead if I wanted to. I could type 4 right there. When I click out of it, it'll do the math. So either of these work. You can type in the quantity and it'll do the math here, or you can type in the change and it'll do the math here. Most of the time, if you're using that physical inventory worksheet, then you're just going to have the new quantity and it will automatically do the math for you. Okay. So now let's go back to, I want to talk about this inventory adjustment account. I actually skipped this. Okay. This is step 5. Again, this is Intuit's exercise. Our exercise is nearly identical. The only difference is where ours talks about that physical inventory worksheet. Okay, it's nearly identical. And we have an inventory adjustment account, which is they tell us to use the cost of goods sold. Let me explain why we have to have an inventory adjustment account. Okay, in QBO keeps track of the quantity of the things. Okay, so this is the quantity, how many of those we have, but it also keeps track of the value of those things. Okay, and this is something you learn, like we go into a lot of detail about it in the advanced course. Okay, but it's keeping track of the quantity, and it's also keeping track of the value of those things, because when you have a bunch of inventory, okay, the example we use in the advanced course is t-shirts. Okay, part of your business is keeping track of how much money you have in inventory. Okay, so your inventory is an asset, and you have to know the value of that asset, because that's how much your business has. That's how much your business is worth. Now, t-shirts, they're kind of small, but if you have like larger pieces of equipment, then you're going to have different, you're going to have more value, expensive things. If you're a diamond reel retailer and you've got like 10 diamonds, you got thousands of dollars in inventory. Okay. So it's important for the books that the value of that asset. Okay. So the value of that asset is kept track into it, or QBO keeps track of every time you buy that thing. Okay. It keeps track of that amount of money in the inventory asset account. And then when you sell a thing, okay, that's money that's going out of your pocket, that inventory is leaving. And so you have to keep track of the cost, and that's when it creates an entry in the cost of goods sold. So you can say, okay, I sold this thing, and how much how much money, what was my cost in selling that thing? That's why we have a cost of goods sold account. Super, super important in bookkeeping, in tracking that, is cost of goods sold. So now, what happens if the quantity changes? What happens if one of those things gets broken or lost or spoils, or we discover we have a new one? Okay, should that be should the account be or should that amount of money go to the cost of goods, adjust the cost of goods sold, or should it go to its own account just to keep track of what they call inventory shrinkage? Now, Randy asked that question earlier. He said, what point would you suggest there might be a problem with inventory shrinkage rather than adjusting the inventory? Okay. The answer to that question is, I don't know. I don't know why Intuit says to adjust the cost of goods sold, make it adjust the cost of goods sold. Okay. I don't know why. Maybe it is because we don't actually know that it was inventory shrinkage. Maybe we actually don't know that it was spoilage or breakage or, anything like that. All we know is that it's a different number. And I don't know. All I can tell you is that the exercise from Intuit wants us to make the adjustment to cost of goods sold and not to a separate inventory shrinkage account. And our exercise in the advanced course does the same thing. It adjusts to cost of goods sold and not to inventory shrinkage. Okay? But that's what that is like, okay, the value of this changes, so what account do we need to use to track the value of that change? That's what that field is there. Okay? All right, so enough about that. We've done step 5. We've done step 6 and 7. Okay? Now we're going to click the black Save button. We're not going to click Save and Close. The reason is because we want to take a look at we want to take a look under the hood and see what the journal entry was for this transaction. The only reason we care is if you're in the advanced course. Usually we click the Save and Close button over here. Today we're going to click the Save button right here. And that keeps it on here. And then we can click the More button to see the transaction journal. And we can see what Intuit actually did. Okay. Now, again, this is part of Intuit's instructions. If you're in the advanced course, this is really important when we're talking about donating inventory. And that's going to actually be our next Pro Advisor Challenge, is talking about what happens when we donate inventory. Okay, so that's different than we're losing inventory because it broke or spoiled or whatever. Okay, so we're actually giving it away. We're going to talk about that next week. But it's super important when you're in the advanced course, that you know what's happening, because you're going to have to make an adjustment and a journal entry adjustment for donations. For here, we don't have to make that adjustment. We're just looking to see what happened. Okay. So we're going to click the More button, click the transaction journal. Okay. And this doesn't show us anything. In ours, we talk about this more, but in the Intuit version, they don't talk about it. They're just like, oh yeah, here it is. Okay. Okay, so here is, I mentioned the inventory asset. The inventory asset was reduced, which means, so it went away. Okay. The inventory asset was reduced. This is for actually it doesn't show us which product in the new modern view. I wonder if I can add the product. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Here, I'm going to add the products. There we go. I should probably add that to the exercise. Well, this is Pro Advisor exercise, so it doesn't matter. I mean, this is Intuit's exercise. But anyway, so here you can see for the sprinkler heads, we had the sprinkler heads. The cost of the sprinkler heads is different than the cost of the sprinkler pipes. So that's why we have two different sections here. Okay. So what changed was the inventory. So the inventory reduced for the sprinkler heads means it went away. So it was credited because assets are debits. I go into all of this detail in the advanced course too. And we'll go in the fundamentals course we're developing. We'll talk about debits and credits more. But anyway, so the inventory asset, less was in the inventory, so it was credited. More was in the cost of goods sold. And so that's what happened there. And then for the sprinkler pipes, it was the opposite, right? For the sprinkler pipes, there was more than we thought there were. So the inventory asset was added to, okay? So that was a debit, and the cost of goods sold was removed, okay? All right. By the way, notice that we had both of these adjustments were made to the cost of goods sold. If we had selected the inventory adjustment, then this would if we had selected or left it as inventory shrinkage, these would both say inventory shrinkage. And you'll notice that because we did that one, we can't have different accounts. So let's say we wanted to use COGS for one and shrinkage for the other. We would have to have two separate inventory. We would have to do two separate adjustments. Okay. All right. So that is our exercise. Now, as part of the exercise of the week, I'm going to make this, and actually as part of the gym, we have a we give you a marketing prompt. Okay. So a marketing prompt, here's the thing. Okay. One of the things that I hear all of the time from bookkeepers is like, oh, I know that I need to post to grow my business. I know that I need to post on social media, but I don't know what to say. Okay. So in the gym, this is one of the benefits of the gym, and because you're here live on the live stream, is that we give you what to say in a social media prompt. Okay. So today's marketing prompt is, hey, business owner, are you using inventory products in QuickBooks Online? How often are you doing an adjustment for the quantity on hand? You really should be checking this on a regular schedule. It's not as big of a deal as you might think. DM me so I can show you. Okay? Very simple. Now, one of the questions, Rosalba, I'll come back to that in just a sec. Let me just do my 3, 2, 1 speech, and then I'll go back and address all of the questions in the chat. Okay. So now you have the marketing prompt, you know that you want to put this on social media. And the number one question then I always get is like, how do I get clients using social media? And they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say or whatever. We at Fast and Easy QBO are not a marketing company. Let me just get off this quick. We're not a marketing company. We'll never be a marketing company. We're never going to have a course on marketing your business. However, there is one method that we do teach, and that is the 3-2-1 method. And I'm going to go over this briefly, and then I will address any other questions that we have in the chat. Okay. So the 3-2-1 method, I'm sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. There we go. And here we go. All right, there we go. The 3-2-1 method is a very simple way for you to market your business on a daily basis. And I got this from a company called Bold House, and they gave me permission to adapt it for you. And so the 3-2-1 method, this is the only type of marketing that we promote or teach at all in Fast and Easy QBO. And here's how it works, okay? So 3 times per day, you are going to send a direct message to your network, okay? So this is not posting, sending everybody on your email list, posting something on Facebook, putting a flyer up at your Chamber of Commerce, okay? This is reaching out directly to 3 people that you know, whatever, family, friends, coworkers, people that you know. 3 times per day, you are going to reach out to them personally, an email, a text, a DM, a phone call. And all you're going to do is you're going to say, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Who do you know that I could connect with? That's it. That's all it is. By the way, if you're not a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, get certified. Get that basic level certification. You can do it in a weekend using our courses. Super easy. You get your free QBOA account. You get certified. And then you're like, hey, I'm now a certified QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Who do you know that I could connect with? Notice you're not asking, do you know anyone I could connect with? That's a yes or no question. And this is simply going to be a business owner that uses QuickBooks Online. That's it. You're not selling any services. You're just saying, I just want to connect. I just want to know who's out there that is using QuickBooks Online that, could, maybe wants to know me. Like, really, that's all it is. Okay. So you're going to do that 3 times every day, 3 people. Okay. So now every day, that means in a week you will have reached out to 15 people. Okay. So of those 15 reach outs, okay, some people are going to say, gosh, I don't know anybody who owns a business that uses QuickBooks Online. And maybe some people say, I know 10 people that know that's all you're collecting. Okay. So your goal is to, of all of that reach out, to connect with 2 potential clients. And by potential clients, I just mean they are 2 people who are 2 business owners who are using QuickBooks Online. That's it. Just 2 business owners who are using QuickBooks Online, okay? And all you're going to do, you're not selling them on your services, all you're doing is introducing them and adding them to your network, okay? That's all you're doing. You're going to say, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, would love to stay connected in case you need any help. That's it. Very easy, very simple. Hey, so-and-so introduced us. Just want to let you know that I'm here. And if you need any help, that'd be great. Would love to stay connected. And then you're going to connect with them on LinkedIn. I say LinkedIn because that's really the business, social media. When I lived in Utah, nobody used LinkedIn. Everyone was using Facebook there. Somebody told me recently that they are using, Alignable? I don't know, whatever your local area is or what most people do or whatever. I mean, LinkedIn is really the business social media, so you're going to connect with them there. And you're not selling your services, you're just connecting with them, okay? And then you want to make sure that your byline says QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. You want to make sure that every time that they see your name, they remember that you are a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, okay? That it always has to be associated with your name. So you want to make sure your byline says it. Then a couple of times a week, you're going to post some tips on QuickBooks Online. And this is where you're going to use those marketing prompts that you get from the gym, from the exercise of the week. We have tons and tons and tons of them, okay? So you're just saying, this is not an ad. I mean, it does say, hey, connect with me or whatever. But the point of this is not for you to get responses to this particular post. It's simply to wave your flag so that people know who you are, okay? What I always say is, how many real estate agents do you know? You know who the real estate agents are because they constantly tell you that they are real estate agents, right? And that's all you're doing, is you're just constantly telling people that you are a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. The other way you can do that here is to like and comment on other people's posts, because if your name will always be associated with your byline, if it always says, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. And when you're liking on and commenting on people's posts, don't be sleazy. You're not posting and saying, hey, I can be your bookkeeper. I am, whatever. No, you're being a normal human being, okay? You're being a normal human being, liking someone's post, commenting on, what they said in a normal human being way, okay? But the point is, they're going to see that they're going to continue to remember that you are QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. In general, you just want to keep waving your flag so that people know who to turn to when they need help. That's it. That's all you're doing. Just raising your flag, raising your flag, raising your flag, so that they know, like, and trust you when the time is right. You should not ever be twisting anybody's arm to use your services. When a business owner is overrun and crazy using a bookkeeper, needing a bookkeeper, they will turn to you. Okay, that's when they need it. That's when they will come and turn to you. And trust me, it happens. It happens. Okay. Then finally, once per month, this is the goal. Again, everything I'm talking about is just the minimum. Your minimum goal is once per month to do a diagnostic review. And the way you're going to do that is you're simply going to reach out to these people again. Say, hey, I'm a QuickBooks Online and Pro Advisor. Would you like me to take a look at your books and see how you're doing? Now, if you don't know how to do a diagnostic review, you learn that in our cleanup course. But there's all sorts of other resources online and YouTube videos, whatever, if you don't know how to do it. You can get it through our cleanup course, or you can, get it through somebody else. The point is that you once a month should be doing a diagnostic review, looking at somebody's books, doing a consultation with them. If you are in the cleanup course, you actually could say, hey, I just finished a course on diagnostic reviews and I'm looking to practice. Would you be open to that? Okay, that's all there is to it. That is the 3-2-1 method. If you do this method, what's happening here? If you do this and stay on top of it, you will get clients. It's inevitable. You will get clients. Okay. All right. Look at the time. It's 12:07. Last week we were 2.5 hours, but this week I wanted to try and keep it to 2 hours, or not 2 hours. Wanted to keep it to an hour, and I am at 12:08. So this is awesome. I promised I would go back to the chats, and my problem is that I don't know where it is, because I was doing the thing screen share, and because there we go. Okay. So here we are going back to the chat now. Let's see. Going back to Joe's comment. So Joe had asked previously about bookkeeping compliance and regulation. And as I mentioned, there is none. There is no licensure requirement. There's no regulatory bodies. There's nothing for being a bookkeeper. And now he says, I asked because I read a lot of posts that we are not real bookkeepers because we don't have all the knowledge and everybody can download QuickBooks and just input numbers. Well, I don't know who we is. But yes, anybody can download QuickBooks and input numbers. Anybody can do this. And the difference is that we know what we're doing. So get a course, get some guidance, and really it just comes down to 3 reasons. There's 3 things, 3 reasons why we do bookkeeping. Okay. Actually, there's 1 reason, but it's broken down into 3. The only reason bookkeeping exists is reports. Okay. Is so that we can report on how the business is doing. And there are 3 reasons that we have reports, okay? 1 reason, the main reason that everyone tends to think about is taxes, okay? Is the government's requirements for how much money we've made, what our expenses we've had, and how much we owe in taxes. Okay. So a huge part of the industry is dedicated to doing the books in a way that the numbers are correct for the accountant to be able to put in all that information. Okay. So that is the number one. It's the number one thing. I don't know if it's the best reason, but it's the number one thing people think of is taxes. Okay. The number 2 reason that is for the business owner to be able to make decisions about their business is to be able to see and quantify how they're doing. Are they profitable? Where are they spending their money? What can they cut? What is going well that they need to do, keep doing or do better? Okay. So the second thing is so that the business owner can make good decisions. And this is the area where we as an industry are really failing, because so many of us have been focused just on the tax part that we have let this other part kind of fall by the wayside. And that's why you're hearing so much about advisory services. Okay, that's why so many people are pushing bookkeepers and accountants to offer advisory services. Advisory services are helping the business owner interpret their reports and advising them on decisions that they can make based on those numbers. Okay, so that's really where we as an industry need help and need work. And here at Fast and Easy QBO, trust me, like, it's on our radar. It's on our radar. We want you to be the best possible, amazing rock star bookkeepers that you can be. And so yeah, that's coming. The number 3 reason that we do our job and we create reports is for outside agencies, outside people, outside parties. Okay. So this could be if you're applying for a loan. If they're applying for a loan, then their books better be squeaky clean, and so that the bank can know exactly what's going on, or whether they qualify for a loan, whether they can confidently be sure that they're going to pay the loan back. But it's applying for a loan, it's shareholders, it's potential investors maybe, that any kind of outside party that wants to look at the health of a business. So those 3 reasons, that's why we exist. And by the way, why we will never go anywhere. Like, I can't tell you how exciting it is to be in an industry that you can confidently say will always exist. Like, there will never be a time when businesses don't have to track their money. They just won't. It doesn't matter what business, what in this crazy future that we have, there's never an iteration of the future where business owners don't have to track their numbers. Like, it's job security. Anyway, all right, going back to the chat. Jonathan says the new button method was much faster for me. That's the inventory valuation. Yes, lots of different ways to do inventory valuation. Chase says, first time here, love this. Yay! I'm so glad. All right. Lindsay says, great explanation of inventory and COGS and how it all works together in the books. Thank you. That was just the tip of the iceberg, Lindsay. Tip of the iceberg. So I don't know if you're in the advanced course or have gotten your advanced certification, but yeah, I go into way more detail there. There's a lot more detail that certainly for the certification that Intuit wants you to know. Chase says this marketing prompt is nice. Thank you. I'm glad that you feel that way. However, I will just say, remember, it's your consistency that matters. You putting out one marketing prompt, today, you can't turn around and expect that you're suddenly going to have 1,000 clients knocking at your door. It's about consistency. It's about keeping people in their memory. There's a reason why you see the same TV commercials over and over. You don't just see them once because, that people forget, they get busy or whatever. All right, let's see. Rosalba says, I just checked my accounting big book. What is the accounting big book? I don't know what that is. I just checked my accounting big book, and it says the adjusting increases cost of goods sold for the cost of the inventory and bring inventory to its correct balance. If you are selling a product, if you are selling an inventory product, again, I go into way more detail on this in the advanced course, but just to kind of keep it high level here. When you sell a product that is an inventory product, okay, your cost of that product, how much you paid for it, your cost of that product is added to the cost of goods sold account, okay? So that's going to increase the value of that account. Now, cost of goods sold is an expense account, so it's a negative number, so increasing means that it gets more negative. I don't want to confuse you with all that. Okay, the point is you have a cost of goods sold account. The cost of goods sold account is every time you sell something, that is there is more money in that amount, in that account, okay? What we just did was an inventory adjustment, which means that the sum of it, if for the product that we had less of, okay, then that amount went into the cost of goods sold account, okay? The products that we had more of, okay, it didn't go into the cost of goods sold account because it actually came out of the cost of goods sold account because it's now in the inventory valuation. So you have your inventory, the total value of your inventory, and the total of value, the cost of that inventory. Those are two different buckets that are complementary, that they go back and forth between them. So I don't know that I like that explanation. It's hard to just explain quickly like on this call without like my graphics and charts and all that stuff, but hopefully that helped a little bit. All right, let's see. Andrew says, thank you for the training. You're welcome. Dinah or Dina, sorry, I don't know which. At what point do you know you're ready to take on your first client? At what point do you know that you're ready to take on your first client? When you, I want to say when you feel like you know what you're doing, but that's not a good answer because a lot of times we never feel like we know what we're doing. When you are willing to put yourself out there and willing to learn as you go. I mean, Corey started doing bookkeeping. Corey Jankowski, who wrote our cleanup course, she started doing bookkeeping when she was 14 years old because I can't remember exactly the story. She was looking for a job, and I think she knew a dentist, and he said, okay, like do this stuff for you. So she was 14 years old. She didn't know anything, and they taught her everything she needed to know. Was she ready? I don't know. She had the aptitude. She had the willingness to learn. So, I mean, anytime. Like I would say you have to have like the basics of that you know what you're doing. You have to at what point are you ready to reconcile your checking account? Like as soon as you have a checking account, right? Like I mean, I was teaching my kids how to do that from the time, like as soon as they could write numbers. So I don't know. That's a hard question. When you're ready, but you'll never be ready. When you put yourself out there, maybe that's when you're ready. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Theodora says reporting is crucial and we do all the grunt work. Yep, exactly. So I think Rosalba here is answering Dina's question. She says, don't worry about that. I left a partnership business in 2008 just because I did not have a degree. I went to college, but that business is still practicing, meaning I made a mistake leaving and not pursuing my career. Keep learning. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, I wish I could show this on the screen. Amy Lynn says, I love Matchbook. And by that, she means I love Booksmatch. She said, I got 2 clients from this. Also, the marketing prompts help so much in my business. So thank you. Amy Lynn says, I got all my certifications. All the courses are awesome. Being consistent is the key. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Amy Lynn. Ilma says, excuse me. Ilma says, bookkeeping existed since the days of old. Yes, I would make a joke about it being the oldest profession. When I was in high school, I can't remember what the project was. I did some kind of project and I said motherhood was the oldest profession. And my mother saw it later and she was like, oh, honey, like I didn't know at the time that they say what they say about prostitution. It was very young and sheltered. But yes, bookkeeping existed since the days of old and will continue to exist in some form. Okay. Amanda says, if someone is looking to hire a subcontractor, is there a way we can look at Booksmatch and contact someone in there? Yes, they can go to booksmatch.us and sign up for an account and find a bookkeeper. Yep. Fritzy says, this is my first time here and helping a lot. Wow, Fritzy. I don't know if you're still on with us, but yay, I'm glad to hear that. And you picked a little bit of a harder one because we did inventory. We vacillate between doing some of the harder exercises and doing some of the easier ones. So let's see. Rosalba says, I always keep learning but not practicing. Oh, yes. So she's commenting on my comment earlier about how so many times we just watch videos or listen to podcasts and we here at Fast and Easy QBO, we're all about the hands-on. We want you to actually do it. And the sample company, Intuit gives us this gift of the sample company where we can just do the thing. So anyway, all right. If you buy a widget for $3 and sell, so this is from Greg. He says, if you buy a widget for $3 and sell it for $10, your gross profit on that sale is $7. The reports will say sales 10, COGS -3, gross profit 7. Yes. But what you're failing to account for here in your little example here is the value of the asset that is remaining. So if you buy a widget for $3, then you have an inventory. If you just have the one, that's a very small asset account. Your asset is $3. And then when you sell it, the asset $3 moves from your inventory asset into the COGS account. Yep. Okay. Amy Lynn says, I just dive into my first client. You learn as you go. There you go. All right. Lindsay says, yes, I have all my certifications and went through, oh, I lost you here. I have all my certifications and went through your advanced and payroll courses. You do go into much more detail on inventory and COGS in the advanced course. I highly recommend all your courses. Aw, you're such a great teacher and make everything crystal clear. These live streams are just a glimpse as to what your courses offer, and we all know these live streams are awesome. Aw. All right, Dina. It's Dina, just spelled Dina. All right, excellent. I'll try and remember that for next time. All right. Let's see. And this person, either Quatez or I'm guessing it's Quatez. Okay. Will you do a live event on how a basic account looks for a small business client? I don't want the first client I accept to be one with more than I can handle on a beginning level. All right, Quatez is confirming, I think, that I'm saying it correctly. Good. All right, let's see. So will I do a live event on how a basic account looks for a small business client? So we are developing, as I mentioned, it's kind of like a bookkeeping fundamentals course, but it's not going to be like the other course. There are like a million of those out there. So this is going to be a little bit different. And what we are tentatively calling it, until we can think of a better name, is what it should look like. Because we found with the cleanup course that we're doing a really good job of showing people what it looks like when it's messy, and that we're assuming that people know what it should look like when it's clean. And we're realizing that not everybody does that. And not everybody knows that. And so when they see the mess, they don't know exactly how it should be. And so there's some people who are struggling with the messy part. I was telling my team yesterday that my daughter she's always been super, super messy. I call her the yin to my yang, because we are like so different. We're like 180 degrees different. We could not be more different. I am like super organized. I'm super organized, and she is super artsy, messy. I am more black and white, and she is like super colorful, like. So we struggled when I was raising her about her keeping her room clean. And her room was always messy. And then one day I had this idea. So we cleaned up her room together. We cleaned it up. And then I took pictures of the clean room. And I put pictures on the clean room on the back of her door. And I said, this is what it should look like. So then instead of looking at the mess, she could look at the picture and just match the picture. Right? She could just say, oh, it needs to be like this. And so that's what we're trying. You're the first to hear it from me. Well, my team heard it yesterday, but that's kind of what we're developing. Is we are developing this is what it should look like, so you have something to measure against when you are looking at somebody's books. That's the concept. Okay, Fritzy says, this chat drives me crazy. Okay. I just learned about inventory this week, so it was fresh on my mind. Yay! Charlene says, how do I contact help? Thank you, Lindsay. support@fastandeasyqbo.com. Erica asked, are you thinking of doing an enrolled agent course? We were thinking about it last week. Last week I asked because we were looking at another company who has courses on enrolled agent. And so we were thinking of doing, some kind of a partnership team effort with them. And then in looking more, which is why I asked on the live stream last week, who would be interested in an enrolled agent course? And like the chat exploded. So many of you were like, me. I lost count. There were so many. But as we were looking into the courses from that other company, we realized that they were not up to our standards, and it would take us way too much to like revamp them and turn them into what you guys are used to from us. And so anyway, maybe sometime in the future, but it's not as immediately now on my radar as it was last week. Okay, let's see. Yes, Lindsay, that's what I was just saying. Last week That's why I was asking everybody if everyone would be interested in the EA, because, and for those of you who don't know what EA is, it's Enrolled Agent, and it's a certification that the IRS offers, and you can, so that you can become a certified like go-to person that you can be a representative. That's the word. You can be a representative for individuals with the IRS without being a CPA. So anyway, Amy Lynn, love how you really keep your standards high. Yeah, wow. That's not everyone loves that about me, let me just say. But yes, I do have very high standards. All right, I think that I have gone through everything in the chat. Ellen says, I'm disappointed that you won't be doing an Enrolled Agent course. Okay, Ellen, we're not going to be doing it right now. That doesn't mean we're going to not be doing it at some point in the future. It's definitely on our radar. And given the response last week of how many people like really, really want that, then it is definitely, it's on our radar. I'm just saying it's not going to be happening soon. Greg says, bookkeeping and tax are two different worlds. Yep, I don't believe you can spend the time it takes to be great at both of them. That's interesting. Yeah, people might have different opinions on that. But yeah, interesting. So anyway, great call today. Thank you, Kurt. My hair still looks good. Thank you, Amy Lynn. Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm getting used to it. I'm going to get a couple different colors. So we'll experiment with that. All right, so I am going to, if I can figure out how to do this, I am going to wrap it up. And yep, I'm going to wrap it up. And I am heading out. So you guys have a fabulous weekend. And I will see you on Monday for Mindset Monday. Is it May yet? Will Monday be May? I can't remember. Let me look at my calendar real quick. No, Monday will be April 29th. Okay. So I had promised we would start doing something in April, and so now I'm thinking I'm going to shift that to May, which is why I asked. All right. All right, so that's it. You guys have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday. I can't wait to hear your success story.